grow and prosper. I get very frustrated in our community because it seems to me like a very small group of people are controlling our destiny. And I think that a good leader is someone who's out in the community, talking to members of our community and giving them perhaps two sides of the issue instead of just one side and always a negative side. So I'm really hoping to bring my skills as a leader to the city of Fairbanks via the position of mayor. I have two children, a 17-year-old daughter who is at Lathrop High School, and my son Andy is 20, he's in the Army and is stationed at Fort Carson. My husband is Stiver, he's the manager at Aurora Energy. My experience with United Way has truly led me to seek this job. As I mentioned, I have seen our community at every level and I can see what a community can do. I recognize the importance of public safety and transportation and the value that we all have in our community. I've been fiscally responsible for a budget of over $1.5 million every year, and that's a budget of other people's money. So I'm very conscientious and committed to using donor dollars in the appropriate way, as I would be the same with using taxpayer dollars and city dollars. It's paramount to me that when you're spending other people's money, you need to be as conscientious as possible. So I thank you again for this opportunity. I've been having a blast running as a candidate for mayor. We've been doing some door knocking and meeting folks, and it's been a lot of fun. And as several people have mentioned, we do have a great city, and I think that we're going to continue to grow with appropriate leadership. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Frank Turney.
Thank you to your Democrats for having the opportunity to be here today. I would like to say, first of all, September 14th in 1814, Star Spangled Banner was written. Anyway, I am Frank Turney, and I'm a candidate. Excuse me, thank you. I'm Frank Turney, and I'm a candidate for the mayor. I've been in Fairbanks for 27 years. After 13 years, I finally got my rights restored, so I went down to register as nonpartisan. A recent Newsminer article thought it was important for you to know that I am a felon. I too think that's important for you to know. Most of you know that the city of Fairbanks was founded by a felon, E.T. Barnett. Mr. Barnett and I have some things in common. We both graduated from Oregon State Penitentiary, that is. We both followed our confinement with community service. After Barnett was released from the Oregon State Penitentiary, he went on to Fairbanks, Alaska, was the founder and the first mayor of Fairbanks. In Oregon, I was appointed to the Governor's Task Force in Corrections and a member of Multnomah County Community Corrections Board. Those appointments came as a result of my activism in helping others while I was incarcerated. Some of my responsibilities, including managing budgets, that was a headache, visiting prisoners and monitoring conditions and studying treatment and confining of prisoners. I was mentored by Dr. Thomas E. Gaddis, author of Birdman Alcatraz, a good friend of mine and also an educational psychologist. With this help, I believe I can be I made a good transmission back in the community. I've been following city council for over 20 years. I've come to the conclusion it's time to regroup with the pillars of our community and start seriously concentrating on consolidating the city and borough governments. I believe it's time to invite the local boundary commission to meet with the Chamber of Commerce. I really believe that we need to get rid of the city layer of government, most of all the ongoing litigation, golden parachute awards and lawsuits. I have more confidence in the borough attorneys when it comes to those litigation and golden parachute awards and the lawsuits. Also, I would like to see elected chief, a police elected. What it would do is take us up to a charter change to be able to have it happen. We've been through, since I've been here in 1982, we've been through about 6 chief of police. And believe me, if you terminate one of them, they're going to the bank. Either they're going to have an arbitrary award or a lawsuit, and they usually win. I think if you had an elected chief of police like we do in most sheriffs in most counties across the country, we can make them responsible and accountable to the people of Fairbanks instead of just being accountable to the mayor who appoints him. And I appreciate it. If you want to vote for me and take another journey into politics, vote for Frank Turney. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
So we will take some time for questions, and I think I'd ask you to address your questions to one of the candidates in particular, or if it's general, give them each a chance to answer. Would the candidates like to stand up here?
Yes, that'd be good.
I think that would be useful. And Marianne, did you have the first question?
Yes, my question was going to be, how do you feel about consolidation? And I don't need to ask Frank that because he told us, but how about the rest of you?
Want to hear my response?
Sure.
Yes, I put a piece in the paper, the Nestlewood paper, they asked that question, Reverend Deacock did ask the question. The research I've done has shown that has not taken place a lot around the country. I've looked into things like the the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, 12 counties and 9 cities, and they're not joining together. Can't find any evidence of this being a trend in government around the nation, so that's just one look at the outside world. Here we have definitely a different structure with our state, but it's been rejected several times. I was in favor and worked on it with Barry Jackson back, I think it was 73, and might have been 74, I'm not sure. But that was a different borough, it's a different structure, different relationship to the community than it is now. At present, I'd say no, I'm not in favor of it because I don't see it defined well enough. It was defined perhaps a little bit more like the Anchorage model with municipality, where you had some real autonomy for South Shore and Eastern Fox and North Pole, but you'd have to include North Pole, and they definitely do not want to be part of any mix. So, in fact, probably none of the other places want to be part of any mix. But I'd say no, I'm not in favor of it right now, but if the group like this wants to come up and put it together so that it makes sense to the state and makes sense to the community, you're going to have the person who's elected is going to have to support that.
I would like to speak on this because we need a clarification.
Could you step up to the mic?
We seriously need a clarification of unification and consolidation. Unifying would include North Pole, South Shore, and that's what they did in Anchorage, a municipality. They unified. Consolidation is 2 entities, that's all. Get rid of the city government. Thank you.
Step up to the mic.
All right. I'll try to be fairly brief on the consolidation issue. Is that since the city is of one particular class and the borough is a different class city, when you do merge them, you would find yourself in a position of having to go with a higher service, a higher class. The city has a higher class, so therefore your fire departments would not be volunteer. They would have to come in line with the same classes. You have issues of what to do with the permanent fund. That fund directly gives tax relief to citizens in our city. It's a direct relief on our taxes. Secondly, what do you do with union contracts? Those are very, very important issues. I'm not opposed to discussing it again and looking at it, but we have not been able to overcome these obstacles. And are we going to get the state to absolutely guarantee that they're not going to pull the troopers out if we do unify? Because we'd have to police the entire borough, which does not have the population to pay the tax bill. Thanks.
Thanks. Consolidation, unification, and merger are really complicated issues, but on a really basic level, it does make sense to me. I live in the city, and there's a reason I live in the city. It's because I like those services, and I have lots of good friends that live in outlying areas, and that's a different lifestyle than our city lifestyle. So I recognize that it's very complicated, but I find it really frustrating that folks that live in outlying areas drive through the city, use city services, benefit from city services, yet they don't pay into that pool for supporting them. So I think, fundamentally to me it seems like a good idea. I know the gentleman that worked on consolidation last time to get it on the ballot, it took him 3 years to get all the signatures.